He was there when IBM said, well, we want to make these computers. They said, no, 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 no. You can't give the computers to humans. And we'll let you send them to foreign countries as a weaponized tool, but we're certainly not going to let you just give this out to people to be used. So they built in, as I said, zero-day off switches, backdoors, and remotes. Now we know Intel, we've been preaching this for 2 years. We were one of 2 articles on the internet. Intel has a chip on it that is a remote control chip called ME. It's always been there. They admit it. It's in the user agreement. You signed for this. The second you turn it on, you agree for them to have what's called the mechanical engine control everything on your computer. That is called aggressive remote control. That is part of the patent I'm talking about. The patent, which name is point focal node trusted remote access control. Okay, it's just a bunch of letters.
That PFN track,
TRIC. Now, what is that? It's aggressive remote control. So when we ran into Able Danger's site and we heard that somehow Hillary Clinton had ripped off his sister over a patent called the QRS-11, and then we heard him say that there's a thing on every plane called the uninterruptible autopilot, and that there was this group called the Senior Executive Service. We said, are any of these things true? We looked and we found they were all true. Worse than you can imagine. So when we looked into where QRS-11 came from, it came from Little Rock, and one particular guy who happened to have invented these amazing things that were then used by the NSA. And so also the heads of the NSA, the heads of FBI, CIA were all there in 1993. They all worked together. There was no formalization. It was the first encryption conference, because they had to encrypt things. So they said, well, who's going to control the encryption codes? It had to be the NSA. They've always been. There's no such thing as a device that the NSA can't open. That's a complete lie. We know that from Vault 7 now and all the reveals, but this has been known since Stellar Wind. It's been known since Prism. It's been known since all of it. So anyway, the point is, same group of people, they control the patent office through IBM. They get together the people who are having trouble. Well, let's go back to QRS-11. QRS-11 is a very complicated crystal that is a gyroscope, and it can tell wherever you're at, left, right, up, down, forward, backward, speed, and altitude, and it can control it. And you can push a button, there's a microchip in it, and it turns it off. And the plane comes down, your car goes off, your motorcycle stops. It's in every moving device, it's in every bus, it's in everything. It's even in cable cars, it's in everything. It's in every missile, it's in every defense missile, it's in everything that flies, it's in everything. Now, how did this happen? Because from the beginning, Arkansas was the center of amazing corruption when Bill Clinton came there. And it wasn't by accident that they came to Rose Law Firm, Hillary Clinton did, because she was sent there, because they knew this was going to be the center of patent.
Mina, for people who don't know this, and now let me just stop you just for a second. Do you know what you've just, if I sat somebody right now, I said, listen, every time Thomas Paine says something, every time he mentions a name, a function, a fact, something that will cause you to lose control of your bodily functions and become incontinent, I want you to click this button.
Clicking the button. Click the button. Click the button. We got to click some buttons, y'all. How's everybody doing this morning? I want y'all to watch a video I posted by Brother Lionel. It was pretty scary. It's scary, but you know, you gotta kind of laugh at this stuff. You just so and what they were talking about is how it goes back to the fact that there is no such thing as being hacked, right? Like, it doesn't exist. You were hacked the moment you bought your computer. The moment you bought your cell phone, you were hacked. You bought a hack and you became the hack for the deep state, which is what we really all are. We're all some minions. Y'all like the movie Minions? But it's not called Minions. What is it called? It's called I forgot the name of the movie. But we're all being controlled. All of us. They have the data for everything. They've always had the data for everything. There's no such thing as people breaking in your computer. Your computer, it just allows for entryway through that chip all over the world, everywhere. Any airplane, they can bring it down anytime they want. They can crash cars. Michael Hastings, rest in peace. You know, and so we're in a place where you just have to laugh and just bring it all in. I try to tell people this all the time. If you want the world to know, put it on your computer. If you want, that's where you store things that you want to share with the world. If you want the world to know, send it an email. Nothing is private. You have no privacy. We voted out privacy a long time ago through all of our political parties and our leadership. Now, I know some of my Clinton people, they're getting upset. Don't be upset, y'all. It's just information, right? It's just information. It's just details, but there are no secrets. Swallow that, laugh at it, and proceed with your life based on the fact that they know everything you're doing. They know when you're doing it. They probably know why you're doing it. They got all your little nasty pictures. Yeah, you shouldn't put that. Don't put that on your PC. Get yourself a little flash drive or something. Don't put that. You know? You got pictures of the kids in bathtubs. Don't put that on your PC. Your kid. Those are your kids. Don't put it, because these people are pedophiles. This is the deep state, y'all. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about the deep state. They control everything. And for me, it's just something that I swallow and I accept because it's reality. It's reality. And when you embrace reality and you accept reality, it allows you to make good decisions based on that, which is why I stand where I do, which is with none of the groups. I stand with the breakdown of secrecy, right? Like, this is all this information we need to know. We had a little fun talking about UFOs this weekend and aliens. And some people don't understand that. Why are he talking about UFO and aliens? We talk about serious stuff. Pay attention. Pay attention. In order to move forward, we need everybody. We need all humans on deck, you guys. We need everybody. So whether your interest is in solar panels, which is what behind me, we in America, this is the first solar fleet being rolled out on the ocean. And it ain't no damn America. We don't do that. We don't do that. We want power. We invade your nation and steal your oil. That's what America does. Now, this is China. We talk about the biggest solar fleet on the water in China. But if you're interested in solar panels, you need to know the truth behind solar panel technology and why the solar panel efficiency is so low. It's because there are patents that require moderate increases in energy technology. And it was done, I want to say, when was that law written? One of my friends got it. I don't know, it was 1955, something like that. I don't remember. I looked at this like 10 years ago, but it was a law written. It was an act that basically said you can't increase solar technology or any sort of energy technology beyond a certain percent. I want to say it's like 20 or 30%. So the high efficiency solar panels, you won't see them. And it's not because we can't make them. It's because the patent office won't allow it. That's another whole discussion. So if you're interested in that, we got that. You want some aliens, UFOs, we got that. You want to know what happened to JFK, Martin Luther King, we got that. So we talk about everything here, mainly because it's ignorance in how everybody's controlled. It's ignorance, right? And why are we all ignorant? One, because they control us. They know who we are, what we're doing. But two, they control the amount of information we have. They have secrecy, right? Secrecy is the enemy. So are aliens and UFOs real? That's up to you to decide. But we need to know the truth. You know, all these nations releasing all these UFO files. I mean, it should be obvious what the truth is, but some people don't understand that, which is fine. You know, in terms of solar technology, we need to have the most efficient things because this is about the future generation. And this is about making sure we're doing the right thing. We need to make sure we have the most efficient turbines. If the thing is politics and you're still going on with politics and you're on this side fighting that side, we fighting the deep state, and really you are the deep state. You know, we fighting slavery, and really you are slavery. We fighting the prison industrial complex, and really you are the prison industrial. We fighting against big oil, and really you are big oil. You know, like when you have the truth about what your leaders actually support and what they're actually doing, then people can make good decisions, right? And so this is what it's all about. It's about talking about the truth. And so there is no topic that's not untouchable. And the great thing is when governments have no secrecy, we have all the data. Then we can all make good decisions. And then I think you'll see all these little groups fall apart. You'll see all these, you know, you'll see now, mind you, we'll go through Great Depression. They start releasing all the information and take away government secrecy. You'll see a lot of people go through depression because they're like, oh, I thought we were the good guys. I thought we were good guys. I just knew I was voting and I just knew we were the good guys. And you're not the good guys. You bad guys. You bad. Bad as all hell. Psychopaths running your group. So, all right. Yeah, I know it's just, it's funny and scary the truth about, we don't talk about the Pope. You get mad at me now. The truth about what happened in, all the pedophile stuff that was happening in the Catholic Church. I think we need to know the truth about that. The truth about sex scandals and Pizzagate and all this stuff that they just been hiding and lying about. All of that stuff needs to come out. And the only way you do that is you get everybody agreeing on one place in common ground. Commoners need to know the truth. If you are a commoner, means you got a job, you don't have $100 million in the bank, you're a commoner. We need to be together in this, man. They're going to kill us, man. All right. They're going to kill all of us if we don't figure out how to get together. So can we agree on some truth? We need to agree that we've gotten past secrecy. We don't, because all the secrecy is about keeping you stupid. And the only people who fight for secrecy are the people who want to stay stupid. So anyway, let me see. I know I had a morning rant. I opened up, had a little too much coffee. Brother Jack talking about I'm drinking too much coffee. I don't drink too much coffee. I'm halfway down my cup. So I got some happy stuff I want to talk about today. I love me some solar energy. So we can talk about that, all the stuff that we could force our governments into if we actually weren't busy fighting about some tweet, some Twitter, somebody said something, talk about somebody's grandmama, some politician, something dumb. So anyway, but I think people are waking up, and that's why I'm feeling good. Around the world, people are starting to realize, man, this system's rigged. This is so. All right, so what we got? Who we got in the house this morning? We got Denise. Good morning, Denise and Lynn and Renee, Deborah, Harvey, brother Steve, and Rosemary, Saywood. Hey, Lori, how you doing? Jenny, Mark, William. All right, I'm seeing a whole bunch. Y'all already commenting. Okay, so we got some stuff happening. Sister May in the house, and Mohammed, and Sharon, Diane, Carrie, Brian. I'm sorry if I missed some people. Elle, good morning. Hey, good morning, Carrie. How you doing? All right, I think we got a quorum. I see people from Brother Lee and Brother Michael. We got people from all over the world, which is a wonderful thing. We one big family, y'all. We are one big family, which is why I want to make sure I talk about stuff that's world focused. I don't talk about stuff that's America focused. I lean towards America sometimes because I'm in America, and unfortunately, we're the ones bombing everybody, and we're the ones restricting information and privacy. We're the ones that got the deep state, that got all the chips on your computer so they see everything that you're up to. So I kind of talk about America a little bit. I know that the reason the world is the way it is because Americans have lost control of their government. And still the majority, unfortunately, aren't bright enough to understand that there are no political answers to human rights problems. There are no political answers to sustainable problems because all of the parties, all the groups, they all hate sustainability. They all love big oil. They all like war. They could care less about children. Famines, they're all cool with if you look at Yemen, which actually was some good information. I wanted to talk about some solar. I was happy with what I saw about China. I end up in Yemen land. We're going to go to Yemen land because Russia finally spoke up on Yemen. Thank you, Russia. Finally, one world leader somewhere in the world, finally recognized that 20 million damn people starving. I got to say that first. I got to say this first. We're talking about some solar energy. I got to say this first. Finally, one damn leader somewhere in the world has a little sense of humanity somewhere in them who finally spoke up. So the Yemen, I guess he was the ex-prime minister. I don't know what he is. I don't even know who the dude is. I'll show the article if y'all want to see it. I'm not a political guy, not a politic guy. That's not what I do. So, but he went and met with Russia. They all had a nice long conversation, asked some tea, some crumpets. I don't know what Russians eat. But they ate and it was delicious. They had some fun and they talked about it. And Russia's points were, all the groups in Russia agree that all the groups there are all committing human rights violations. The people shouldn't be starved. If they need help, Russia gonna help. I don't know that that's gonna happen because Russia's not ready for the United States. United States some dirty dudes, y'all, and they are over there. So, and their buddy is Saudi Arabia, which is why they won't say anything about murdering 20 million people because they don't give a damn because their buddy is Saudi Arabia. Which is why I say we're commoners, because the commoners don't get to know the truth and the information. In fact, I posted that this weekend. I don't know if everybody understood what I was saying. I went to go see a movie called 12 Strong. 12 Strong. Good movie, good movie. A little bit of propaganda-ish, right? Talked about 9/11 and the first troops that went in to go fight with the Northern Alliance against the Taliban. which was a good thing. Wrong reasons, complete wrong reasons, totally wrong reasons, but it was a good thing. So, but the post I made, I was trying to say this, and I kind of explain this, is that I'm saying after 9/11, our first invasion should have been our naivete. Naivety. Is naivety a word? Did I say it right? Naivete? Is it French? Naivete? Our naivete. The first thing, when you get attacked, when something bad happens, the first thing you do is not a knee-jerk reaction, because that makes you a worldwide jerk. When you get hit, the first thing you got to figure out is, who the hell hit me? That's number one. Who hit me, right? And I think if first of all, if any of the presidents, because I got my friends that love the last president, they love this president. If any of the presidents gave a damn about commoners, all of the 9/11 files would have been declassified. But none of them did. Not yet, anyway, because they don't care about the commoners. They're not elected by the commoners, and they don't serve the commoners. They serve the people taking over the world. But my point was, step one, something happens. Who hit me? Why did they hit me? Before you hit back, if you're standing in a crowd of people, somebody smack you in the head, you don't just start swinging at anybody, right? The closest person. Because usually the person hits you is not going to be the closest person, right? If you're standing in the crowd, the closest person, oh no, they're not going to hit, no, oh no. I'm going to stand 2 people away or something, and I'm going to kind of lean over those people and smack you in the back of your head, and I'm going to stand over here, and you're going to attack the people next to you, which is what happened after 9/11. People didn't stop and ask those questions. And because they didn't ask the questions, we went after the wrong people. Now, mind you, the Taliban was complicit, and they did some training and all that stuff, but they are not behind 9/11. Everybody's got their theories about who is, and I'm okay with all of that. My 2 cents is, listen to people, let them speak. Listen to your commenters. Let people give you their theory. Why? And I'm going to go back to this weekend again. I like me some UFOs. Why do I listen to testimonials about all the UFO alien stuff? Because they're commoners. Those are my brothers. Those are my sisters. I will listen to you talk about vampires, trolls, fairies 20 times before I listen to the government, who I know always lies. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to believe you, but I'm going to listen. So don't hate on the 9/11 truthers. Leave that alone. Anybody who's trying to find out the truth, it's a good thing, because they are commoners and they're trying to solve a problem for commoners. It's a good thing. But that was what I was talking about 9/11. Now, I'm not saying that we shouldn't take the Taliban down, but what I am saying, there are ways to go about things to replace repressive governments. And it's not always murdering millions of people. Sometimes you can be a little strategic about it. Sometimes you can be a little smart about it. So, all right, we're going to keep it. All right, I don't know how I got there. We kind of went in a couple places. So China has the largest, let me show y'all this. China, man, I tell you what, China, y'all trying to hit my heart a little bit. China, y'all, they got the largest solar fleet, and it's on top of an old coal mine. So they took an old coal mine and they basically turned it into a solar power plant. This is what you can do. And you know what? I don't know if China's a great government. I don't know what they got. I really don't know a whole lot of things about it. What I know is they're doing something decent. And around the world, this is what we could be doing if we actually controlled our governments and we forced them to do something. Man, I hate commercials. Hate commercials to death. Let me see what we got here. 40 megawatts, almost the entire lake now. And it's highly efficient because they are water cooled. You know about solar panels, they heat up, and when they get too hot on a good sunny day, they lose efficiency. So they're actually using water to cool the solar panels down. It's off the charts. It's just amazing. And it's a great use of a lake that was over coal mines that's like useless, I believe. You know, but this is what we're supposed to be doing. So this kind of made me happy this morning. I was like, man, you're like, this is when the people actually have say. And I know if you're not interested in solar technology, that's fine. But these are the
Welcome
things
to
that take down the power of the deep state. Hold on, somebody got something to say. What do you say?
Huainan City, China, home to the largest floating solar farm in the world. Tens of thousands of panels soak up the sunshine 24 hours a day, enough to fill more than 160 American football fields. Eventually, they'll generate enough electricity to power about 15,000 homes for a year.
160 football fields. Y'all know what that? I know y'all know the size of the football fields because that's all y'all do is watch at Coliseum Sports, get everybody divided up, fight. We blue, we red, we gonna fight. We got this jersey. Y'all know it. So 160 football fields. Now how many touchdowns? Sometimes you gotta say football to get people interested.
Here. We've invested about $45 million so far, says Yao Xiaohua, deputy director of the project. Initially, it is more expensive to build this way. Consider the fact that you have to take a boat to do just about anything. But in the end, floating solar panels can run more efficiently because they're cooled by the water underneath. Plus, they're taking up unused space. The government won't allow us to just install panels wherever we want, says Yao. These old coal fields wouldn't be used otherwise, so it makes sense. The farm is about 90% done. The repetitive daily linking of buoyed panels broken only by floating a finished product into the lake. It's all part of a broad strategy by China, the largest greenhouse gas emitter in the world, to move away from the one cheap energy that's powered it for so long, coal. Sure, it was cheap and efficient, but it was also dirty, and that's produced skies like this across the country, choked with a toxic smog. Coal still generates more than half of the country's electric supply. But the government has pledged hundreds of billions of dollars in things like wind and geothermal projects to fight that. And solar...
Hold on. China has donated, they're putting in hundreds of billions of dollars. What? Into solar technology. China's trying to save the planet. What the heck? And some people will sit back here, yeah, well, America, in my country, we still got more solar panels. This is about the right direction, right? They're going in the right direction. And this stuff is off the hook. This is fantastic, phenomenal, right? Because solar technology, that's the place we got to go. And they're heading in the right direction. And what are we doing? We're turning our coal mines back. Now, mind you, I get it. Look, it was wrong, totally wrong, the way the last president shut them off. Just out of line, completely out of line, right? Because you don't take somebody's income and shut down their industry and not expect them to be pissed off. Like, so again, I don't do mid-tier stuff. I like to talk about root cause analysis. So America could have headed in this direction, and we could have went about it in a wise way where we start converting people into solar technicians and wind vane engineers and put that federal money to kind of take people out of the mines and put them in higher tech jobs. But we didn't do that. We said to hell with y'all, shut down the coal mines, pissed off a bunch of mid-America, and this is where we are. So, but we have to go this direction, right? Going back to coal, that's not the right way. I don't think that that's going to really happen anyway, because it shouldn't happen, number one. Two, we got plenty of jobs for those people. I mean, look at the size of the federal government. We can put people to work in it. But this is what happened in America, and I'm sure these initiatives happen in your country. Another thing that happens here is that you can't put up solar panels anywhere, which is actually the same thing in China, though he just said it. You can't put up solar panels anywhere. You got to get approval from your township, and you got to make sure that the state lets you do it, and your association, a lot of them won't let you do it. You still have large swaths of America where you can't put up turbines. You can't put up wind turbines because, they kill birds and they're eyesores. They come up with all of this BS. They make up a whole bunch of stuff to keep people off of solar technology because they want you dependent on oil, right? Because dependent people, like what we talk about, dependent people are powerless people. If you are dependent on power, water, food, infrastructure of your government, you'll never tell your government anything. Dependents can't stage rebellions and riots. It just doesn't happen because you need the people you're rioting against. And so they want to keep you dependent on this extremely old, ridiculous petrol oil technology, which I don't know if anybody on this planet actually still believes that the engines that we have that are highly efficient are actually based on oil. I don't know if anyone actually still believes that a 1940s invention is still the best we can do. Like, that makes no sense. Which is why I say, if there are people who are saying we have high technology, whether it came from some aliens or whatever, ancient technology, wherever, we need to know the truth. We need that needs to be deployed around the world, but you can't do that if we actually don't know what the highest technologies are, because you're too ignorant, yelling at your neighbor because you don't think they were abducted by some aliens and had the babies and stuff like that. So don't be ignorant. Just listen to you. So you know what? This led me down the whole solar route. Y'all remember the first solar air? You know, I don't remember the first solar airplane, but this is one of them. Y'all remember this cat right here? Look at that. How awesome that is. What if we actually, as a 99%, as a people, as commoners, decided that, you know what? We shouldn't have airplanes anymore. Yeah, you know, you got your friends who talk about chemtrails. Y'all don't be ignorant. Listen to your friends talk about chemtrails. Y'all, conspiracy theories are bless you, y'all. It's not conspiracy theory. It's just conspire with a little bit of fact. So if they're they see a conspire happening and they got a little bit of fact, shut up and let them talk. You know, because you know the great thing about solar airplanes are they minimize the weight they can carry. So if they are dumping aluminum and barium and all that crap that, you know, that they did in experiments for geoengineering, if they actually are doing that, they may not be able to do that if we had a requirement that moving forward, more and more planes had to be solar-based planes. Now, of course, we won't have big, massive, ignorant planes, and they'll be smaller, and they might crash a little bit. But it'll reduce air flight. It'll get people to drive a little more. And we got solar cars that we can make. You know, Volvo, I don't have a picture. Maybe I do. Volvo had a car. I don't know if y'all saw this. It was at it was an old convention. I want to say it was 2000 something. Well, of course it was 2000 something, where one of their cars, they actually had a fabric, I want to say it's a gazebo type thing. I know I have it in here somewhere. Gazebo type thing where you didn't have to find a charging station. Like, one of the big problems with the solar cars is you got to find a charging station to put them under. Volvo actually had a fabric tent, basically. Let me see if I can find it. A fabric tent where you could park the Volvo underneath and just charge it out in the middle of the field or at work or wherever you were. All right, I don't have it really quickly where I can just grab it. So, oh, wait a minute, maybe I do. Maybe I do. Hold on. I always have tons and tons of stuff that I look at every day. Kind of I go down this little rabbit hole. Let me see if I can, hold on, let me get rid of this. Work with my technology. Right here, here it go. Here it go, here it go. Look at this. This is off the hook. This is a Volvo. It's a fabric. Hold on, let me shut up and let him talk. Hold on.
Reliable alternative energy. The Pavilion employs 252 fabric-embedded photovoltaic panels. These panels collect energy from the sun or artificial lighting. The V60 plugs directly into the Pavilion's skin, charging its battery over the course of the day. The Pavilion is designed to be easily disassembled and placed in the V60's trunk for transportation to the next event. Composed of a tension mesh skin and a perimeter ring made of carbon fiber rods, its sensual design creates an appealing profile, especially when lit for evening events. Yet because great inventions rarely have only one use, this story may get even better. While the Pure Tension is designed as a pavilion, it's easy to imagine it being re-envisioned as a consumer product, perhaps as a portable solar carport. One major problem facing battery-powered cars is finding places to charge them. A product such as the Volvo Pure Tension Pavilion highlights the need to find a solution.
Like, what if we actually required car makers to start making cars that were electric? And we know that you don't actually need to have a charging station at work, or you could have one, or you could have one at home, but until they get those charging stations, all these makers make these canvases. They actually said that it fits within the trunk of the car. So you're basically getting out, for you lazy people, it could be a button where you press the button and you had like the convertible thing come up over. But see, these are the things that we can do if we're not worried about somebody tweeting about something, right? If we're not being ignorant, still making jokes about the last president. If we're not being, if we think about, they lock us into planned obsolescence, planned energy obsolescence, because we don't force our country down those paths, which is just another reason they keep everybody divided up in your silly little groups. Like, we can force that. There was another awesome one right here. Check this out. This is so much great solar technology. But, but the thing about technology, you actually have to evolve it, right? Like, you have to make it. You have to work with it. You got to let it break. Figure out how to do it a better way. But you have to deploy it in mass to figure out the problems to make it better and better and better and more efficient, more efficient, more efficient. And that doesn't happen if we're not forcing our governments down those paths. So we got to force them down the paths. I had a thought. So, all right, I'm not going to go there. I'm still in UFO mind. I was just here thinking, you notice how we don't actually, we don't see a walk up in technology. It seems like the human race, every time we go back and find an Antikythera device or some solar power, or some people say the pyramids were making power. Some people talk about the Vimanas and like all this Atlantis, all this ancient technology, it's high tech, high tech, high tech. You ever wonder why you never see a build up to that high tech? And I was just thinking about that. We developed all this stuff, in like a short period of time. We've been here in written history, right? We can go back almost 10,000 years pretty well. Like we got that documented pretty well. But for those 10,000 years, we were basically cavemen pushing wheels, pushing wooden carts. And magically in the last 100 years, out of 10,000 years, magically in the last 100 years, we have microcomputers and high technology. I'm just sitting here thinking about that. Like, we all die out and they come dig us up. They'll notice we went from like cavemen in caves to like massive high technology. I was just thinking about that. And that's why I'm suspect. And that's why I think about Enoch and all. Like, I don't think that we went from cavemen to this. I don't think we went from stone builders to Vimanas. I don't think we went from cart pushers to Antikythera devices. Somebody's helping us. And maybe it's just us. Maybe it's our brains all hooked together in this one big one brain neural network around the planet because everything's connected. But when you think positively, you think about positive things, we kind of go in that direction. I don't know. I had a little side thought. Hold on. Check this out.
Voyage covering 28,600 nautical miles. Measuring 31 meters long and 15 meters wide, the ship's entire top surface is covered with 38,000 silicon solar cells. These cells charge 6 banks of lithium-ion batteries, powering everything on board except a small propane cooking stove. The batteries can generate around 127 horsepower with a top speed of 15 knots. With a 6-person crew that was later...
Look how pretty that is, man. Come on. Even y'all, you superficial people, you even gotta love it. It's a pretty boat. Let me do this. It's a pretty boat. Ain't no reason why you can't have this. We could have, what if we stopped making warships? Hold on, hit this guy in the face. See, when you hit him, you can't hit him. You stand next to somebody. Anyway, that's another joke. Listen, we can do this, right? Every ship doesn't have to have guns and bombs and it's like we're trapped in this British mindset. Not British right now. My UK people get upset. But we're trapped in this mindset that every damn piece of technology got to have a cannon mounted on it. That was British. When are we going to get past this manifest destiny, take over the world colonialism nonsense, and start making ships that got solar panels? That's just, what if? What if, it makes perfectly good sense to require technology going forward to be beautiful stuff.
Reduced to only 4. Designer and skipper Raphael Domjan demonstrated to the world that solar energy can be used to power even our largest machines.
Is anybody paying attention? Does anybody, are we even, got your thinking cap on?
2015's Tribute International Balloon Fiesta in Bristol, England, saw the first ever flight of a hot air balloon powered solely from the heat.
I'm not gonna go through that. This one was quick. So it was a blimp. They done made it. Well, is that a blimp now? I guess they call them air balloons, whatever you call it. Anyway, use solar technology. They use gas to get it up in the air and gas to land it. But the whole time it was up, they're not using gas. They're just using heat from the sun. It's off the charts, y'all. So it's crazy to me. And look, I'm just gonna show you. I'm gonna show you a little piece of this.
Days. With no heavy frame or propane tanks, this amazing grill goes where other grills can't. The Go Sun oven uses parabolic mirrors to concentrate sunlight onto a glass vacuum tube, creating heat to cook the content inside. A stainless steel food tray allows it to act as a portable convection oven for baking, boiling, sautéing, and more.
So even on top of that, even your oven doesn't have to be electric, doesn't have to be gas. You can have solar ovens. We can, like, you don't have to, when you had a barbecue out back, you don't have to use a carcinogen gas and pump carcinogens in the meat and give them to your little children and wonder why they get brain cancer down the road and lung cancer and everything, liver cancer. You can actually cook without heat. Like, these are things we can require. What is wrong with us? Like, all right, I'm gonna keep going. I'll post these videos. You can see all of them. I think the last one they talked about, oh yeah, that was the
in Nevada. Solar Reserve is employing the newest concentrating solar power system. 10,000 mirrors heat up a massive tank full of liquid salts that are pumped up to the top of a staggering 650-foot tower and heated to over 500 degrees Celsius. When electricity is needed, the hot salt is used to boil water and produce high-temperature, high-pressure steam. This turns turbines that generates a mind-boggling 500,000 megawatt-hours of electricity per year. The site can store up to 10 hours of power and is working diligently to increase that number. Solar Reserve's projects in South Africa, including Jasper, Redstone, and Lasada.
Look at that. And you didn't have to murder nobody for They didn't murder nobody for this, y'all. They didn't murder nobody for this. They just rolled it out. The mirrors focus the light onto a tower, heats up water that's got salts in it, and they use the heat to turn, I guess it's a boiler. Like, this is crazy. Well, okay, maybe they did kill somebody for it. That may not totally be true, because solar panels still made from minerals from the colonies. So some slave labor might have made it, and some people probably died for it. But we can get past that. I mean, they didn't invade anybody for this. And let me see. That's the solar airplane. I want to show you one more. It's not in this one. It's not in this one. There actually was a device. It was off the hook. And I guess I'm kind of doing a little bit of a technology thing. I'll get into the news a little bit. But there was a device made by MIT. And if I didn't have it, I wanted to show it to you. I'm not looking at it. But it was a device for bringing water to the desert, where basically they created a box that it opens at nighttime. It lets moisture in the desert. And during the daytime, it closes up, automated. The box heats up just from the solar heat. All the water condenses on the sides and the inside of the box, drips down in the container, and fills up 2.5 liters of water per day on no cost. Like, think about that. You know, that can be done in an automated fashion with a few little solar panels on the top. People don't have to die from a lack of water. We can deploy that instead of drones. And I think it was MIT. If I can find the video, I'll post it later. But just like off the hook type of stuff we can be doing instead of dumping all this money into war. Oh, Lord. Okay, I guess we got to do the news a little bit. I like good stuff, though. I like good news. I love just looking at the positive stuff that we can be doing. So on the ignorant side, some ignorance happening. The Turks, I think the Turks are invading, where are we at? The Turks are actually, they're firing barrages and shots into, at the Kurds in Syria. So this is the Turks being peaceful on the border. They're being peaceful, which is ridiculous. So, and of course, those are American-made rockets fired from American-made, vehicles being fired at other troops, the Kurds, who have American-made weapons. Hold on. Hold on. There was a report that kind of went through some of the details of it. Let me see. I think this was I think it's this one right here. It talks about the ignorance of
Turkey's military operation against Kurdish forces is entering its third day, with Ankara's tanks now moving into Syrian territory. It comes after the USA announced it is training Kurdish militia to establish a new border force in the region. Well, the US has acknowledged that two of its allies in the Middle East are in conflict, and the US Defense Secretary said that Washington had been consulted about Turkish operations.
Yeah, two of your allies are in conflict with both of the weapons made all in America, funded on US tax dollars.
With more, is Ilya Petrenko.
Unbelievable. Is this real? A NATO member telling Daddy, you know who I mean?
Amerika'nın
Behave yourself, or I'll point a gun at you. Am I exaggerating? A bit. Mr. Erdogan didn't say these exact words, but Turkey's got a prime minister who pretty much did.
Anyone who gives logistical support to the YPG is Turkey's target.
For the record, the YPG equals the Kurdish army. And for all these years, who's been giving the Kurds all kinds of support? Right.
Ey Amerika.
Over the weekend, the Kurds were extended an olive branch. That's what Ankara calls its military op. The Kurds say they repelled an attack on Sunday, but where does the YPG get its guns?
Amerika.
Tayyip Erdogan couldn't care less why Washington's been helping the Kurds. To destroy ISIL, for this man, the Kurdish militias are no better than terrorists. That explains his latest messages to America.
The U.S. is in the process of creating a terror army on our border. What we have to do is nip this terror army in the bud. America, do not encroach on our borders. Do not provoke us, or we will run out of patience.
Does anyone from the U.S. government have anything to say?
We urge Turkey to exercise restraint and ensure that its military operations remain limited in scope and duration and scrupulous to avoid civilian casualties.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait. Hold on one second. We urge Turkey to exercise restraint. Now, this is coming from Washington, you guys. Washington. For the last 40 years, they've been invading the whole damn world. They're urging somebody to have some restraint and to ensure that the military operations remain limited in scope. Mr. Endless War, Mrs. Endless War, bombing everybody, and duration and scrupulous to avoid civilian casualties. Last time I read, we killed 5 million people in our last conflicts over the last 40 years. It wasn't even 40 years. It was like 15 years since the Gulf War. We didn't kill 5 million people the last time. Come on, man. Stop. The contradictions are ridiculous. Let me hear the last thing.
Some very restrained counsel there, to be restrained. Think about it. Mr. Erdogan rants at America. U.S. officials don't hit back. Turkey rolls out the tanks, flies out the warplanes, sends...
Which is the F-16, by the way. That's our plane.
...soldiers over the border. Washington basically keeps stum. After all, this isn't about Kim, whose slightest squeak makes Donald Trump, for one, roar. So perhaps the Turks and the Kurds have succeeded in one thing together, reducing America to baffled silence.
Baffled silence, because it doesn't matter who wins the conflict. Just like the Iran-Iraq-Contra affair. We funding both sides. We are arming both sides. We are friends with both sides. If y'all not processing, the word of the day is don't trust America. That's what, well, not America. America, good people. Don't trust Washington. Washington is completely untrust. Whatever deep state that runs Washington, that put all the chips on all the computers that watching what everybody doing, they're never ingenuous. They are always up to something dirty. And they're fine with y'all murdering everybody, each other, because they make them a whole lot of money on all of it. And so, and I guess the last thing I say about that, it's just, you got to stop supporting people or your Washington because you think your friends are in government. Your friends are never in government. They are not. I still got friends trying to convince me that the deep state isn't in control of all of this, and they are. And this is all based on denying human beings the right to self-determine what they want to do on the land they live on. That's what it's all about. That's what a terrorist is. A terrorist, before they become just so desperate they strap bombs to themselves, there are people who just want to be left the hell alone on their land to live the way they want. And if now, okay, I'm gonna make a separation in that. If you are murdering people because they're teaching little girls how to read, now that's something totally different. So Taliban, we don't have there's no friendship there. If you were like murdering teachers and little kids because they're learning how to read, this is what America is for. This is what the West is supposed to be for, is backing groups like the Northern Alliance that are freeing parts of, freeing countries, not keeping them destabilized because they want to make a whole lot of money on opium, which is why in Afghanistan, there is no win. They just want the opium to keep being cranked out. Taliban was burning opium fields till America showed up. Now Taliban's growing opium again. Now America's backing out. Y'all see how this works, right? Taliban was burning the opium fields. They were shutting down the opium production, so we invaded Afghanistan. We got the opium fields back going, got the troops guarding them, planting the seeds, starting the cones, and now the Taliban needed money, so they started growing opium again. The opium production went through the roof. Now it's back to where it's supposed to be. Now America's backing out, and the people in Afghanistan are like, no, don't leave. Don't. If you leave, it's going to destabilize our country. America doesn't care. It's not America. I got to fix it. The deep state in Washington, they don't care because they never went there so little girls could read. They didn't go there because they were stoning women. They went there for the opium. And now the opium's flowing. They're leaving. Understand how this works. So there's a whole lot of money being made, and the military's making money on it too. So, all right, let me see. What else we got this morning? The crazy stuff happening. Let me see. And so I was looking at the Sudan, a little report I came out of Sudan this morning. Same thing happening all over the world in terms of censorship. Let me turn that off. What is this? America ain't first. America doesn't exist. This is about the deep state. This is all about just making money for big corporations. We got to get past this idea that countries even still exist anymore. We got to grow up a little bit and believe the testimonies of what people talk about. Oh, man, that's a long commercial. Financial Times, what they trying to do? Another bank commercial. Look, watch this.
These gates every day for 8 years. But Osman Mirghani, who runs his own daily newspaper, Al Tayyar, says a lot has changed and not for the better. He now has fewer staff because he can't afford to pay them all. Editions of his paper have been stopped from going on sale more than 20 times in the past year, 4 times just this month.
Press freedom in Sudan depends on the political atmosphere. When we started working in the 90s, the freedom was much more than it is now. There are a lot of restrictions the government uses, like confiscating the papers after printing to cause economic loss, stopping some articles from being published, restricting the movements of journalists. It comes down to the political scene with no regard to the media laws.
Right. So same thing. And this is how we started this out. Keeping commoners quiet. Keeping commoners from actually being able to say the truth about what's happening in their neighborhoods and their countries to anyone around the world. And so because that government doesn't have the chips on all the computers like America does, they're doing their censorship in a different way. So it's not social media, but it's the same exact censorship. It's the same exact thing of silencing your brothers and sisters in another country by shutting down their ability to say, somebody's hurting us, somebody's killing us, our government's corrupt, our government's run by the deep state in the United States and the Western world, and they're all some sellouts, and we need y'all's help. This is why the whole world has to be united in this. The whole 99 perspective around the world is they're doing the same exact thing to all of us. If you care about internet censorship and the whole net neutrality, I know some of it was bad and some of it was good, but the reality is government can't have a place in censorship. Anytime a government's censoring something, some real bad stuff is about to happen. So I know I went off on a couple rants this morning. There was a couple other bits of news, but we're running low on time. So I think I'm just going to take a look at the comments and see what y'all are talking about. See if anybody's yelling and cussing at me. Oh, you know what? No, I'm gonna show one more. I got to show one more. I got to show this one because I saw the headline. I got upset. I was like, oh, I'm gonna be upset with this one. But I talked about Indonesia. Indonesia, measles, chickenpox kills dozens of children. And as soon as I saw the measles, I was thinking, oh boy, here we go with the vaccines again. But now take a peek at this.
And done. Children of the Asmat tribe in Papua, barely alive. Their bodies exhausted and weak from hunger and disease. Undernourished, they're battling against outbreaks of measles and chickenpox. Military medical teams have arrived in some remote areas. Maria Epam and her husband Linus had to travel for 5 hours and feared their 6-month-old daughter would not survive.
Our daughter has been in this bad condition for quite a while, but only now have people come to our village to help.
Ella Kakaer is 5 years old, but her body is less than half the size of a healthy child her age. Villagers say 29 children in her village alone have died.
We rowed our boats to a health post in another village, but when we arrived, they rejected us. Some of our children made it there alive, but some died. We buried them there. Others died on the way. We buried them next to the...
Hang on, I want you to, I'm showing this to you for a reason. Now, these are people, now if you go look on National Geographic, these are the people who were thriving not too long ago, before they took in the whole modern world, the whole debt-based economy, the whole planned obsolescence system, the whole unsustainable Western society. Before they did that, these were people who were living in the jungle who were happy, full bellies, empowered. They weren't dependents to these sick, debt-based society. Hang on, keep going.
Reported.
Siapa yang pernah peduli?
My question is, does anyone really care about these children who are dying? Does anyone want to go there and get real data about their condition? And why do we only now say this is a problem?
The Asmat tribe is best known for its past history of headhunting and cannibalism and living off the forest. But introduced to modern life and money, they are struggling to survive without government aid. For 4 months, they desperately have tried to find help, but their cries to save their children's lives fell on deaf ears. This health crisis shows that government assistance is not reaching poor Papuans living in these forgotten parts of the archipelago.
So this is not and that's the last one I'm gonna do. I'm gonna see what y'all are talking about in the comments. But so this is the same thing. Right? I keep saying, don't trust them. Don't. When they come to your country and say, we have a better civilization for you, we're going to bring you into our bank debt solution, say no. Get the hell out of our country. We got food, we got water, we don't have the malnutrition where we can have chicken pox and all of these problems. Get the hell out of here. Always do your research when somebody shows up on a boat, sailing ship, and they got a better society to give you. Ask the people in that society, is it better? And so all this is they're just walking these tribes from Papua into extreme poverty. They're just joining the poor white folks in Appalachia. They're joining the poor black folks in the ghetto in America. They're joining the poor folks in Germany, right? They're making them the bottom of the bottom. Anytime you have wealthy of the wealthy in these debt-based systems, you got to have somebody on the bottom. There has to be somebody dying of nutrition. And this is how this works. This is why we can't continue to go this way in our very sick societies, rolling out these bank currency models that completely don't work. It doesn't work. Don't believe the hype. These people are nuts. So, all right, let me see what y'all are talking about. I went on, I ranted a little bit this morning, but we just have to, we got to get on one accord. We got to get on one accord with this. And people, when you can find it, and I try to stick to just human rights type stuff. If we can stick to some really basic, simple things, it's just, and I know there's a government shutdown. I know y'all talking about America. I don't care. Look at me. Hold on. Look at this eye. Look like I care? No. Okay, now check the other eye. They look like I care? I don't care. I don't care. Well, I got a government job. You not being fair. I don't care. I don't care. You know why I don't care? I don't care because it reduces the amount of bombs that are being dropped tomorrow. It reduces the amount of, when you spill the milk on the floor in the kitchen, it's your job to clean it up. And if the only way we can clean up some of the milk around the world is letting our government be shut down for a little while, then shut it the hell down. It needs to be shut down. You know, like I'm not complicit. I know there's some people who might be hurt by that, right? There are people who need some of the Medicare and Medicaid, but you know what? We did this. It's not even on those old folks, right? It's on us. We allowed an unsustainable system to be built up on slavery, murder, war all over the planet. And I'm personally, for one, I'm tired of being a sellout. I'm tired of supporting this system. I'm not going to support it no more. So if the government wants to shut down, shut it the hell down. You know, I love you to death if you work for the federal government. Like, I'm not, you know, but the thing is, you need to get a job and work for some decent people. You need to get a job and work for people who don't murder children. You need to get a job working for something that's good in life, that's good in the world, something that's doing something sustainable. Get a job with a solar company. Get a job. Like, we gotta, you know, it's the same critique people have in the military, right? Say, oh, well, you shouldn't be in the military. The military is bad. It's foul, murdering people. And who you work for? Huh? Who do you work for? What do they do? How is your job? Where does your salary come from? It comes from starving people in Papua New Guinea. That's where it comes from. It comes from starving people. All right, I'm going to calm down a little. I'm just saying, I don't care about American politics. I don't care about American discomfort. Y'all, America, we need to be a little discomforted. The West, and it's not just America. This the UK too, it's Germany, Europe, all throughout. We need to have a little discomfort. We've been living on this comfort high on the hog, as they used to say, high on the plantation. We're sitting on the porch, drinking a delicious lemonade, looking at all the slaves around the world, telling them they need to pull themselves up. We need to stop being hypocrites and stop being sellouts. So no, I really don't. I know I didn't talk about the shutdown. I'm not even sure if we're still shut down. I don't even know. I don't care. We got to have a little discomfort because our brothers and sisters around the world are starving to death. All right, anyway. Whew, what Brother David said, it wasn't about money. We would be beaming to Phoenix and anywhere else and back. It needs to be about people and the planet, life. Yes, and I agree. I think, and I'm not sure beaming to Phoenix. I'm not sure what that is. I'm not sure if that's some Star Trek beaming up into space or like flying to outer space. You know, if you listen to what some of these people who worked on this free energy technology, they'll tell you that we have drives in space. We have engines that go faster than light. That's scary. Scares the hell out of me that we actually have if we possibly have faster than light drive. But when I hear about stuff like that, I'm the skeptic. But I'm saying if somebody actually said that, we need to put this person in front of Congress and see if they'll say it. We need to investigate everything they worked on with whatever corporation they were with. Because if we have high technology and it's being held from the population, that's the greatest crime against humanity. Those people not only need to be locked under the prison, they might need to be taken out and shot. But those are the same people who shot JFK, shot Martin Luther King, and they're behind 9/11. And that's not going to happen because Trump tweeted something, and now I'm supposed to be mad because Trump said something. All right, so let me see. What are you sitting? Andrew, what are you talking about? What are you all sitting in? It looks like Spaceship 2001 Odyssey. Oh no, you didn't see the picture. No, this is a catamaran. I got a picture. Hold on. We were talking about a little solar technology here. This is what this is. It's a boat. It's a boat that doesn't have no guns on it. Ain't got no bombs, no cannons or nothing. It's just a boat. It's a human life boat. It's a human boat, solar boat. And we're talking about we need to require these solar technology to be rolled out, with any new forms of technology that comes out. And it was just a good video. I have to post it later. They talked about some of the biggest machinery in the world, including airplanes, all have been powered on solar power, but we refuse to do it as a nation, as a world, because we're still fighting over tiddlywinks. We're arguing with our neighbor because they didn't put some trash close to the thing. And Kathleen said, we need to keep this kind of information in front of children so they start thinking about how great this would be when they're young and non-political. Yes, and this is why I like to talk about the stuff, Kathleen. These are the things our kids need to see and know about. They need to stop talking like the ignorant adults who keep believing the lie that, oh, this is the best we could do for right now. This is the best we can do with power. This is the best we can do. It takes time the ship is slow to move. No, it's not. All of that is bull. It's all bull. Our kids need to be focused on looking up because one, this planet we can't stay here. And two, they need to be looking at high technology and not be focused on just getting a job to make as much money and competing with other kids, take as much money they can from others in their society. We got to start thinking like a group. We have to start thinking like commoners again. We have to become earthlings instead of ignorantlings. Sister Cindy said, prisoners in the United States have been using to manufacture solar panels. Thank you, Sister City. You get it. You understand how this works. And this is what the slave technology, this the whole modern slavery is about. So they're going to take those kids in Papua, say, oh, well, we can get you some jobs here. You can you can build solar panels for cheap. Or they'll just, or they'll be the lowest of the low. They'll be the subclass. They'll be walked into prison because it'll be criminal to grow some cannabis or something natural that they've been eating while they were in the jungle. They'll grow it. They'll put them in prison, and they'll get them making solar panels. But that's what they use them for. They don't use American inmates, slaves, to hammer, license plates anymore. They use them for high technology, and that's why I say it's all slavery. And you support it through your political party. You're a sellout. I'm sorry. Be mad at me if you want to, but this is what your leaders do. And, in fact, better yet, don't be mad at me. I'm just telling the truth. If you want to be mad at your party, be mad at your leaders for lying to you that they love some slavery while they were telling you out there to tear down some statues of Robert E. Lee. They love slavery more than he did. So, God, here's the thing. Be mad at them and say, I'm done with your party. Walk away from slavery. We can do it, y'all. We can walk away from slavery. You ain't got to be mad at me. Just say slavery is a bad thing. Believe it in your heart and stop supporting the people who love it. No, the justice system is not as good as it can be. The justice system is as bad as it can be. It's crap. It's the 13th Amendment. It's just slavery, except for it's just not one group of people. Now everybody can be slaves all over the world. The debt model solution being rolled out. All right. What else we got? Research Solar City. And their use of prison. Yeah. I got you. I'm on it. I seen it. Lord, we get some nerve, urge and restraint. Yeah, we have the nerves, Georgia. We lie. And this is what she's just lying. They just sit there lying about, how we need to be. Somebody else with our weapons needs to show restraint, but we don't show any damn restraint, anything. And our first solution is to go kill people and take what they got, not to do something intelligent and actually talk to people and find out why they're pissed off. Instead of determining why the countries are crap holes, instead of being mad at the person who says the country are crap holes, and being smart enough to understand they are crap holes because we made them. So stop listening to the people who made those countries crap holes and stop being mad at the person who said they're crap holes and make a change and say, no, we're not going to make any more crap holes. But they want you to be mad at the crap hole, because if you can be mad at the crap hole, then nothing will ever change. Sister Elder said, God knows what they're planning next. And we'll never know. Our governments have secrecy, so we don't know what they're up to. We don't know who murders the presidents and the leaders, who destabilize the governments, who stages all the coups, who's behind all this. We get indicators, like here in America, we got the Freedom of Information Act. Now that's coming out. We see that pretty much all the assassinations in South America and in Africa and the Middle East are pretty much our government. Well, not our government, right? It's the CIA, a branch of a civilian group who no longer is being watched by anybody. They're a rogue group doing whatever they choose to do. And if we don't know the truth, this stuff never stops. So this is why they hate us, not for our freedom. It's because they understand all over the world that the Western governments are murdering their leaders, putting in sellout governments, and enforcing that slavery. They're rogue. These departments are rogue. And I'm not anti any of the departments. I am pro. They need to start working back, if not for your country and for the good of the people in the country, they need to be working for the human race and not for destabilizing a planet that can't take much more ignorance. And I bet you the majority of people in the CIA want the same damn thing. I bet you the majority of people in the NSA want the same, because they're just us. They're not robots. They're just people trying to pay a mortgage. Every evil done around the world is done just to pay a mortgage. So if you take out the need for people to pay mortgages, what happens to evil? It goes away. All right. What else we got? I'm going to walk down. Yeah, Georgia, they were talking about the measles. I was waiting for them to talk about the vaccines. I was waiting to be pissed off, but somebody there understands it. Somebody there gets it. Why are the people suffering from measles now? Why are they getting, it's malnutrition. They're not in the jungle eating healthy, fresh fruits and vegetables and the things that they evolved to eat. They're now eating probably Western diets and McDonald's and things that are killing them. And now things that they've always had, viruses and conditions that bring about these illnesses and diseases are thriving because their immune systems don't work because they're malnourished, which is the same reason chronic illness exists in the United States and all over the world that they won't tell people is you're dying from malnourishment. But you believe the news. Yes, I've shut it down. I am a shutdown person. I'm with you, Georgia. Shut it down. I'm with shutting it all down. Brother Robert said, I'm thinking the government shutdown. I'm thinking about the government shutdown. So I must ask if funding was suddenly short, temporarily not available where you worked would be expected to show up the next day anyway. Yeah, you know what? I think so. It's possible that they just didn't have the money and they just want people to be out of work for a little while. Didn't want to pay anybody. I'm not a believer that there are multiple political parties and they actually fight over anything. I think that they come up with these schemes. We're never allowed to know the truth, and it could just be because they don't want to pay. They got weapons to buy for the Kurds and the Turks, and so to keep them fighting. And so I always think everything is a lie. I don't believe anything the government says. And I'm 20 times more plausible to believe somebody who saw the Loch Ness Monster, Bigfoot or whatever, because they're a commoner like me. They're just like me. I'll believe them quickly, with all the whistleblower testimonies about conflict minerals and economic hitmen. I believe all of that. I believe in Sudan that they're shutting down the newspapers. I believe all of that. I believe that nobody cares about the kids in Papua. I believe all of that 20 times before I believe one thing a government that's been caught in thousands of lies has to say. So I'm all for shut it down. Shutting it down might actually, it's a little hard times in America, might actually bring people back to common sense. I mean, I don't know what else is going to bring people back to being adultish if it's not a shutdown. We need some hard times. Unfortunately, we do. Hard times, tragedy brings a family together. It can be a horrible tragedy or it can be a mild tragedy. A government shutdown to me is a mild tragedy. That's something that we can pull together and help each other. If you have something like a currency collapse and everybody's out of work all over, then that's a massive tragedy where a lot of people end up in some real bad places, if not a lot of people dying. So I'm all for it. I don't believe anything they say anyway. I think they're all on the same team. So I shut it down. I really don't care. Cut it. Yeah, give me the switch. I turn off the switch, click. And I ain't gonna turn that switch back on. I'll leave it off. All right. Let me see. So they're paying for the tax cuts. And they could be, right? David said they're paying for the tax cuts. It could be. They come up with this stuff, all these laws, and they're just schemes. I mean, you got people who clap for the stuff because they believe the people who are in government. Meanwhile, they have no idea who these people are. They've never met them, never went to lunch with them, ate with them. They can't text him. He won't ever text them back, but they believe in them because they put all their hope in somebody another adult that they don't even know. And so they trust it. But most law anyway is just a means of extorting money from taxpayers anyway. Like that's the whole point. If you're a corporation, you buy up the government, you buy up your politicians so you can get them to take the taxpayers' money and give it to you so you can do research and development, make some vaccines, build some bombs or whatever you want to do. And the people just dumb enough, they sit back and they think, oh, they're in it for us. They're not in it for us. They're in it for their employer. Their employer are corporations. So it's completely plausible that they're just using that, put people out of work for a week or so, all federal employees, put that money in a coffer and send it all to the corporations. And we believe that this is for us. It's just insanity to me. All right. Sister Lynn said hiccups are good. Yeah, hiccups are good. I think long-term hiccup shutdown choking is even better. Hopefully we can do that and we can make some sort of a government that actually respects human life and human rights somewhere. So some government jobs are also people jobs like Social Security, children and family services. Kathleen, you're right. And unfortunately, it's something that we, I think, have to endure, right? Like, yeah, it would hurt a lot of social services while we're shut down, but bombs, they hurt a lot more. White phosphorus hurts a lot more. The devastating things we do around the world are significantly more. And I'm not one that I don't prioritize American discomfort over human life elsewhere in the world. I prioritize human life first. And so Americans got to deal with some discomfort. We allowed a system to be built up on mass starvation, mass scarcity, and mass murder. I can't find a good argument in me anywhere for any service that comes from any part of the federal government. Short of giving someone a medicine that can save that person's life, sort of something that's directly related to the death of a human being, I can't see any ill that's even close to being as bad as the things we do all over this world every single day to people who have never done anything against us. And so when I say I'm good with the shutdown, it's me fleeing my sellout skin. It's me getting outside of my American sellout skin where I'm willing to sell the world out so my lattes can be cheap, so my life can be easy, so I don't have to go out and grow my own food because I'm lazy. I think people need to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. We need to stop being dependent on all this slave-based, death-based American government, and we need to become sustainable again. We need to be dependent on our neighbors and dependent on our own skills, not on corrupt, sick, lying people who are popular that none of us know, that live 2,000 miles away in a pseudo state that, So anyway, that's my belief. So I'm good with the shutdown. I don't care. In fact, it would be the greatest thing on the planet if we shut down for months and those people who work for the federal government found jobs doing good things for other people. I think that would be fantastic. I think that would move us in the right direction. Sister Mary said, yeah, they don't work for us anyway. Nope, the government does not work for us. And the sooner, Mary, people can accept that a lot of the Western governments, especially the United States, does not have a government that works for its people. And the sooner people can accept the truth, the sooner we can have very realistic discussions about how the heck we get out of here. How do we go back to a sustainable world? How do we do what other wiser nations are doing in pushing solar technology, wind technology, and green technologies throughout all sectors? We can't get there if we're so worried about fighting other commoners who have the same enemies that we do. Sister Deborah says, what are we talking about? We have over 50% of our budget spent on military spending. Yes. When they cut spending on social services before they cut spending on the military, that shows exactly where their priorities lay. Yes, their priorities are not children. They don't give a damn about social services. These are little things that they give, little nuggets, and which, by the way, it's a lie anyway. I used to read the laws, and I don't read them anymore because I stopped because I realized they're all lies anyway. How all that social service stuff works, they're bribes that are paid through Title IV-E, through children welfare services, where they actually pay, the federal government pays states $250,000 per year per child they take from an adult. And so because they do that, it's basically child trafficking. So these departments who want to maintain their budgets and maintain the only profitable department in most states, short of cannabis, which is Human and Family Services, because they make money taking children from parents. That's how that works. That's a child trafficking business. So I'm not for that anyway. I'm for, children and protecting children, but that's not what it's about. It's all about money. It's all about greed. We support it. We cheer for it. We vote it. And that's why it's not going anywhere. But that's why I stopped reading laws. Like I said, everything I read, always, everywhere in the law, there was a little clause to take money from taxpayers and create an industry out of the problem. So the problems never go away. The problems always get worse, from the war on drugs, the war on cancer, all of this, the war on domestic violence, all of this stuff isn't a war on the things. They just make those things industries, and they make a lot of money because they name the laws well. But if you actually read the laws, which is why Americans tend to be so lost in all of this, they hear the name of the law and they start cheering. They put the name of a president they like behind the law and they start cheering. And they don't really realize that these laws are just designed against them and to perpetuate problems, not to solve them. And that's why I'm all for a shutdown. I'm all for get rid of it all. So anyway, it's been a good morning. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. This is Gerard hanging out on the solar ship, talking about a 99% perspective. We all need to start speaking like we have some common damn sense. We all need to go back to acting like we're adults. We all need to go back to wisdom and living sustainable the same way our parents used to live. Appreciate everybody sharing. Spread the love, you guys. And keep in mind, a little bit of discomfort on a parent, you know, or an adult, something that's delayed that we want is always a lower priority than what human beings elsewhere on the planet need, especially children. Lower yourself in priority. Lower yourself in priority. Stop being so self-focused. Grow the hell up. Stop focusing on mid-tier problems. Stop focusing on politicians. Let's start focusing on actually what's wrong with the world. Anyway, this is Gerard. Love y'all to death. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.